Good evening, morning, afternoon, Freaksy Geeks. This is Cass, and I got some personal stories to tell. And this is annoying. Alright. This time I'm actually telling 3 stories, because they're all pretty much the same type of thing. The theme is... The theme is running into people with malicious intent. My first story comes from when I was a small child. I can't remember how old I am. I think I'm 6. I was 6 or 7. My parents had driven away to go and get the groceries, and my older brother was watching us. And we were all in the hallway. It's kind of like that shotgun type of house. It's like the front door has a clear vision leading to the back door. So it's like you stand at the front door, you can see the back door, pretty much. So we were in the hallway, and our computer was in the hallway. So we're just gathered around, we're playing, I can't remember which game. But I look over to my left to the front door, and standing there was a man it wasn't like exactly a ski mask, but it was something that covered his face. It didn't fully cover his face. He was wearing, for some reason, a Hawaiian shirt, or something along those lines. I remember that it was white. And it had, like, print designs on it, all over the place. He was also wearing red shorts. But what scared me was the fact that he had a gun holster. And it looked like it had a gun. I stood there for a couple seconds, shocked. And he ran. He ran from the door and across the yard. 2 things seemed a little bizarre to me. The first one, well, besides his clothing, was the fact that he had a gun. There was only kids in the house. And when I saw him, he ran. Second one, we have a porch at the front door that had steps coming up from the right side. So he had to go down the steps and go around to run through the yard the way he did. So, when I called the police, they didn't fully believe me, and I don't blame them. Everything just seemed off about the situation. Later, I figured either that was not a real gun or it was not loaded. So, just tell me what you guys think. The next 2 stories are actually more scary because they were more life-threatening. First story, which I have dubbed the Millennium Mugging, because it happened New Year's Eve at the year 2000. Everybody was up in, like, arms about, like, oh, it's the Y2K, everyone's going to die instantly when the clock turns 2000. Mainly because of the clocks on computers. And I'm like, the clocks on computers will not cause a nuclear explosion. I'm sorry. So, when it turned over to 2000 and nothing happened, my friend and I decided to go outside and walk over to his, parents' place, and this was at midnight. So we said like Happy New Year's, stopped in with his friend, we chatted for a while. So by the time we left, it was like about like 1:30 or something like that, and we're walking. And later, when I get my computer, I will provide like Google Map images with the No, there can't really do a link. I'll submit a photo of it. So, we were walking, and I heard voices. And this is at night in a neighborhood that was kind of secluded from the main roads. And I had a feeling there was, like, kids in the area that would be up to no good. So, I wanted to travel on the path that was near the woods. My friend was like, no, because people will jump you in the woods and they'll drag you off and kill you. We're going the safe way. So, as you probably figured, the safe way was where the kids are. There was 4 of them. I only saw 2 at the beginning, and I thought they were the friends that we left at home, at my home. So I greeted them, and then I realized there was 4, and one was, like, swiftly walking up to me. And I realized that the situation was bad way too late. He punched me in the nose. Didn't really knock me down, but it stunned me. And this is why my nose is crooked. So, he hit me. His friends hung back, and being the nerds that we are, the 3 of us, me, my friend, and my younger brother, couldn't take on these 4 people all by ourselves. But this guy, which I figure is the leader of the group, decided to just attack me for some reason. So, of course, being the non-fighter that I am, I asked him, why are you doing this? So he replies with, because it's the year Y2K. And then punched me again. So we get into like kind of like a spin fight where he grabbed onto me, and to prevent from him punching me any further, I tried swinging him off of myself. So we were just 2 of us locked into combat, not really combat, but just holding on to each other, spinning around in circles. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to kick this guy, and eventually it felt like my foot connected. I heard him going, oomph! And he let go, with my coat being ripped. And so I ran, ironically, down the path that was by the forest. I look back at me, and I see only him chasing after me, with my little brother behind him in very close pursuit. I thought the other 3 was attacking my friend. Eventually, this guy decided to give up chasing. So I'm standing there, and blood is dripping out of my nose. And so we decided to, instead of going back to check on my friend, because all 4 of them were there, decided, because I didn't have a cell phone at this point, to walk home, because that wasn't far, and call the police. The section of busy road that we were on did not have many houses. So we finally came to one that the lights were on inside. So I figured the guy was up. Knocked on his door, and because it was the year 2000, he was suspicious because everybody suspected that people would just, like, jump people for no good reason. Which, that was the only thing that apparently was true. So, he didn't let us in, and I don't blame him. And I told him, it's just like, you could just call the cops. Just call the cops, let them know that I've been attacked. And I'm sitting here bleeding from my nose, and I'm spitting up blood occasionally. And he goes, no, I'm not going to. I'm like, just call them. We'll just stand here right on the sidewalk. In fact, we're going to even stand in front of your house. He's like, nope. I'm like, if... The thing is, if we were to cause, like, mayhem or harm, calling the police would have been the best thing ever. Even if we, like, our goal was to attack the police, they have guns on them. They have nightsticks on them. And they probably came in, like, a pair. And this would be adults versus kids we're talking about. A kid that has been attacked already. Anyway, finally get home. No one's home. Turns out my parents, or actually, turns out my friend had went home, and the two of the kids did try following him, but they weren't interested apparently. And he got home, and he phoned in the police, and then my parents. So, to make a long story a little shorter, my parents drive over to my friend's place. My other two friends decided to run off on their own to see if they can, like, intersect us while we were walking home, which they didn't. And they carried a BB gun and darts with them. By the time they got there, the police was swarming the area. So they patted them down after they ditched the gun, the BB gun, and they completely missed the darts.
Hooray.
So, So, my parents got there. They said that they were the parents of the kids that got jumped. Kyle told them, my friend Kyle told them what happened. And they got home to find us across the street at my other friend's house, and that their mother was tending to me. Couldn't really press charges, did not know who the 4 kids were, so that was unfortunate. And so ever since then, I've been afraid of going outside in the dark. Last story, which is a little quicker. We just moved into a place, and I was living with my friends, and one of them was coming home from work. So I went to the bus stop to pick her up, and this was against my wishes because it was dark. So I'm standing there waiting and waiting. The bus finally came, she got off. She was very glad that someone showed up because it was dark, and we were still living in kind of a shady neighborhood. So I walked with her, and we got onto our street nonetheless, and I heard some kids behind us. So I looked, and there was a group of what looked like gangsters. Like the teenage gangsters, you know the kind. You know what I'm talking about. And they, instead of like crossing the street normally, like from corner to corner, they did a circle. They were like cutting the corner. And they were traveling in like a bird formation. Like kind of in a triangle. So I knew, shit, we were being jumped. So, we're walking, and sure enough, I hear one of the girls behind us yelling, "Hey, you better turn around!" I'm like, nope, I'm getting punched in the back of my head, not my face. Sure enough, they hit my head, like right in the back of my head. This time, however, I did fall over. So I'm on the ground, they're surrounding me, they're kicking me, and again, they didn't do anything to my friend. She kept walking, trying to not get into it because there's like a bunch of kids here. And I'm pretty much an adult at this point. So I finally roll over onto my back, and I start kicking at them. Again, resulting with the kicking. And they laughed, they kicked me back, they dodged my kicks, and they just ran off, laughing. So I get up, I'm a little annoyed at my friend, because I wasn't sure if she was carrying mace or whatnot, but she didn't even try to do anything. She didn't even run. I'm pretty sure she had a cell phone, but I don't know, it doesn't matter. I got home, and I run into the house. They didn't, like, do any damage to make me, like, bleed. But I had like a bruise on my face and my jaw. Apparently I got a fracture on my cheekbone here, and my entire jaw was in pain. I couldn't eat solid foods for like a couple days. I mean, woo. But again, this happened at night, so now I'm doubly, not really doubly, I'm still as afraid as the night, but it's more of people at night. When I am walking down the street now, and it's nighttime, it doesn't even matter if it's like 10 o'clock, and it doesn't matter gender, race, age, size, it doesn't matter. I'm now deathly afraid of running into someone at night. So, those are my experiences. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. And I want to hear what you guys think about me telling my stories. I know that the scary story YouTube tellers have pictures up, and they do like the Ken Burns effect, but that's not my style. I kind of don't like that. Let me know if you want me to do something more interesting than just sit here and talk. Let me know. I am an animator, so I could possibly do some kind of animations, but if I do, that's going to take longer than a day, especially since my computer's still down. So just let me know. And that is all, Giraffery.